Welcome to A Better HR Business, the podcast that looks at how HR consultants and HR tech firms grow their businesses and how they help their employers to get the best out of their people. Remember, for show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Okay, let's get started.
Today, I'm delighted to be talking with John Masud Parvez. John is a leading expert in business transformation in Southeast Asia. His business transformation approach lies in digital and workforce transformation to drive companies toward their next phase of growth. He's the founder of VSHR Pro Academy, which is an organization renowned for empowering businesses by creating a series of micro breakthroughs within their workforce, helping organizations to level up from one stage of success to the next. And to achieve this objective, VSHR Pro Academy enables companies to build their flywheel in the workforce by the Pro HR Flywheel Framework. John is also the author of 100X Business Workforce, which is known as a toolbox for workforce transformation for HR leaders. So I'm definitely keen to learn about that too. But firstly, John, thank you very much for joining me today. Great to have you.
It's a pleasure to join you too, Ben. And thank you very much for the inspiring introductions. Thank you very much for that.
So whereabouts are you based today?
I'm actually speaking to you from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam today. And I know that you are in Dublin. Cold. Here it's pretty warm.
Oh, that's just unfair. So mean of you to say. You've had a really interesting progression and you've accomplished so much, but you also do so much both in the business transformation, the digital creation of products, services, which I find fascinating, that two-pronged approach. You're also a TEDx speaker and founder of a non-for-profit. I got to start with, how do you find all the time?
It's a great question. Is how do I find the time? I think I have one big advantage is about I was doing it for a long period of time. And I was consistently doing it for many, many years too. So all this started around, let's say, for example, my research journey, because everything what I'm doing right now is all started on the research. I started research when I was in the final year in the engineering student. So I had to do a final year, 1-year research project that time. And that was my very first time doing research. But after I finished my graduation, I did not stop, but I continuously doing the research. So yeah, I mean, it's 17, 18 years of work and I didn't know what I was doing. But now when I look back, I find out a true meaning of that one because it's actually explained by Naval Ravikant, if you're really familiar about him. So he wrote a book, it's an Almanac of Raval Ravikant. So there he explained about it. It's called a long period of curiosity for a specific matter, which will help you to develop a specific skill set. And I didn't know what I was doing, but when I'm reading about it, and then I was just exactly understand, yeah, that's what I was doing. I was building my specific knowledge. And I'm happy to explain you later on this show with you today.
Very good. I might ask for the link to that for people to check out in the show notes to find that. I think that got popularized in recent years by this bestseller, The Zulu Principle, I think, which is where if you just continue to dive into a topic, you become a bit of an expert in that. But in your case, it's not just that. It's learning, studying, working, and then taking action. I think that's a big thing. And we'll get to the book in a minute, but I do know that with your book, yes, there's ideas and concepts in there, but my impression is you wrote the book to help HR leaders take action. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. One of my favorite book was Start With Why from Sunny Shannon. And I'm sure that you're very familiar about it. But problem with the book is about, I get the idea, but how to do it, I don't understand into it. So that was my biggest pain point because I was reading those kinds of book, I getting excited into it, and I don't know how to do it into it. Yeah. And then I realized this one, okay, I think this is the thing I should do. I should write the book where they know why I should do it. And then I give them the right tools and templates and resources they can actually really apply into that one too. And I fall into love that process of building, optimizing into it. So how to create the momentum in the workforce so a business can move from one level to the next level. So to create those, take the business from one level to the next level, the business need to do a series of micro breakthrough. And this is the book, is the toolbox so an HR leader can take it, or it could be even an entrepreneur who's starting their own businesses, or it could be a CEO or could be a leader, the own team, they can take on and they can create that micro breakthrough in their team so they can create a business breakthrough for the company too. So let me tell you this one. Let's say example, a business in a startup level, the 4 key priorities. The first priority is about distribution. The second priority is the expertise in the business. Third one is energy. The number 4 is the media. So how does these 4 priorities, put in the right order into the workforce so it can create the micro breakthrough into it. And that's what is the toolbox about in the book. So this book is not about ideas. So the book has around 10 tools, around 44 downloadable templates and assessment tools and different exercises and research data, which they can use it as their own decision-making ability so they know what should be done in the next way too.
Nice. Very good. If I turn then to the VSHR Pro Academy, what exactly does it do? What does it offer? And who does it help?
All right. Let me explain to you what's going on in the industry. And I think that will help to understand what's going on. So now we're living in a very interesting period of time, Ben. So we had a worldwide pandemic. A lot of businesses got hit too hard really well. Our industries like F&B is still surviving. Hospitality business still like crippling around. People spending differently as well too. A lot of people has a different lifestyle right now and also has a different amount of cost structure of the living as well too. So now what happened? It's all resonate back to the company and work culture too. So a lot of habits of spending has been changed. So a lot of company has a huge challenge about their revenue retention. So that is one of the things. And the second thing is about just 2 years later, after we get out of pandemic, we got exposed to a very unique situation. It's so unique that it changed the whole world. So it's called this artificial intelligence. So many people think that it's about ChatGPT, but it's not ChatGPT. It's the artificial intelligence. And it's exactly like a general purpose technology right now. So now, because of two massive disruption, one is worldwide pandemic and this huge new general purpose technology. So now the companies start to get struggle in a really abnormal way. So there are, like I say, this one, there are 5 levels of business. Level 1 is like a startup. It's a $0 to $1 million business revenue. Second level was $1 to $10 million business revenue. This is most like your service businesses or family businesses that are in the space. Then the level 3 is about $10 to $100 million business revenue. These businesses are quite like a chain of jeans, or they have a chains of F&P businesses to that kind of space into it. And then we have 100 million to billion businesses. They are like tech startups. They get all funded into it. They have 500 to 1,000 people already in their teams. And the last level is about $1 billion to $100 billion business. And that's where it comes to Zoom, like Google, Microsoft, in this case, Tesla. So now, because of the disruption, some small companies, which never existed before, they completely skipped the game. So let's talk about ChatGPT. OpenAI did not exist. It just appeared and now thriving forward. They are the fastest user acquisition in the whole world, even beat the speed of Zoom or anything else. And then the other side, there's a small company jumping up and they know how to use those advanced technologies and opportunities and use those new technologies and new situation of the market and thriving forward with a very small team. They have like 100 people or 200 people making the revenue of 1,000 people, 2,000 people, even 5,000 people companies revenue into it because they have figured out how to do it. So what was the company was level 4, they're dropping their revenue to level 3. Level 3, they drop them to level 2. Level 2, dropping themselves in level 1. So they're basically ramping down into it too. So this is what we come to the Play VSHR Pro Academy. We come to the business. We look into this one. What is the main compounding factor into the business? And we believe this one to scale the business forward, to take the company from one level to the another level and workforce flywheel effect into it. And that's what going to help company to sustain and then thrive forward. So this workforce flywheel can work like a series of breakthrough. It need to be created. Like an example, if you want to jump from a 1 million, let's say you are in level 2, where it's like a $5 million revenue coming into it. You want to move to the next level. So it's just not going to be one jump. It needs a series of micro breakthrough to be created. So that's why it needs a flywheel effect into the business. So VSHR Pro Academy come into the organization, look into the organization, and identify what should be the flywheel effect and how should we be implementing into it. What are the existing assets they have? What are the new assets need to be built into the business and create an HR flywheel into it. So how do we do that, right? So for this one, VSHR Pro Academy built their own framework. It's called Pro HR Flywheel Framework. And that's the framework has basically 3 key columns. The first column is about discipline people. The second one is about discipline process. And the third one is discipline culture.
There are so many excellent resources on your website that people should check out. They're also very thoughtful and I guess clever in terms of business growth because you've got things around HR strategy assessment tools there that people can do. I think there's something for CHROs, then there's other thought leadership, but you have definitely thought about who's your target market in terms of organizations, but then the roles within them and what are some of the challenges that they are thinking about trying to address. And then you've got your thought leadership there, which can open the door to then learn a bit more about VSHR Pro Academy and some of the other things you do. How do you work out what to write about, what to produce in terms of the marketing content and thought leadership?
I think it's about doing and documenting the journey. So I have seen a lot of experts, they speak about expert, but as soon as we start to work with them, they don't look like an expert anymore. And I figured out that most of them had the same issues this one. They didn't really document their journey moving forward. So for me, it's all about doing research and documenting the journey. And that's how it all started. I have a bunch of my friends who are also CEO and they have the same problem they're facing in HR. And I need you to solve their problem too. And that's how it started. We're just doing into it and sharing this journey and doing these things, working with these different leaders, different CEOs, and their business challenge they are facing into it. And we documented into it and we shared about it.
A couple of questions then. Who exactly does VSHR Pro Academy help? What kind of organizations? And then secondly, I noticed that you do work with partners, different types of partners. So how do you help? And then on the other hand, what kind of partners do you have and how do you team up with them?
So our typical person is normally going to be, if it's a large organization. So let's say, example, if a company has more than $10 million US dollar revenue, normally we'll be working with the head of HR or CHRO. If the company has a less than $10 million revenue, normally it's going to be founder or the CEO of the organization. So ideal company who normally has a desire to level up their business. So like an example, a company, let's say example at level 2, so they are at $5 million revenue. They want to go to level 3. They want to go to a $10 to $100 million business revenue. And so that's an ideal company that will work with us. The second thing is about normally a company who has a desire to be on the top 20 into the industry. So like an example, in FMCG, somebody want to move to the top 20 into their country. So they will love to work with us. The company who are already in the top 20 and they want to thrive forward because they want to level up their business into it. So they're going to be an ideal organization to work with us too. Regarding the partners, there was a lot of conversation was going on. And based on that, we launched this partnership program and formally announcing it. So the first partnership program is about a verified consultant. So a consultant normally is going to be an individual or somebody has a less than 10 employees and small agency, a boutique agency. They are working on any kind of service business or product business. And they're providing the solution to a B2B company and they can package our HR transformation solution with them and make the solution more efficient and effective as well too. The second type is about solution partner. The solution partner is normally an organization, not an individual. So it could be a traditional consulting firm, or it could be like a recruitment agencies, could be a lead generation agencies, or could be a software and IT agencies. So normally, let's say example, a software IT agency, what they do, they're providing, let's say, a human resource management system. Very easy to understand. So now the human resource management system need to be well trained in the organization. Otherwise it will fail. And if it's failed, what it will do, they will decommission the solution too as well. So now if we put down the right training and right change management, and we put the right strategy into it, that means the human resource solutions will be very successful in the organization too. But it's not just only human resource solution. It could be applied for intranet, any internal system, or even building CRM and so on too. Like when you build a CRM, need the right amount of sales strategy and sales upskilling program as well too. It's all things can come from VSHR Pro Academy. Somebody selling CRM solution, they can become our solution partner and can package a success together for the organization too. Because end of the day, internal staff, they always like to point out to the agency, right? So they will say, hey, didn't work out. Why didn't it work out? Because there was not proper change management, proper strategy was not been there. And that's why it's failed. Third type will be alliance partner. So in this alliance partner is basically software vendors, system integrator, or software outsourcing agency. The software outsourcing agency is a big, like an example in UK, most of the big corporate, normally they will outsource their software development, right? So software outsourcing development agencies, they have their great skill of building the code and building the system, but finally adopting into it and properly deployed into the business with the right strategy and right change management, all can come from VSHR Pro Academy too. So that's why these kinds of company become a great alliance partner. And the last one is an affiliate marketers. It could be like individual person too. It could be a blogger. It could be a video content creator. It could be a search engine expert. It could be influencer. It could be podcast host too. So they can work with us and become an affiliate marketers, and they can bring a prospect to work with us, and they can get the values being an affiliate marketer working with VSHR Pro Academy too.
If you're listening to this on the go, check the show notes. We'll have the link to the partnerships area. And then on the marketing business growth side, you've done so much with that content, speaking, I guess some promotions, but what has worked well for you and what has not worked well for you in terms of marketing and growing the business?
Before I started to say this one, I really wanted to say this first. What may have worked with me may not work with you, because it all depends on a lot of other conditions. So the thing is doing research about specific problem with long and deep curiosity about it. And that really helped me to build the specific knowledge about specific problems. What really worked with me is about when I'm doing this long journey, I documented everything I'm doing. And I'm documenting it publicly as well too. All those journey I have building all those researches, all things. Somebody can go to the YouTube and write down my John Masud Parvez. They can find all those contents, years. It's already documented into it as well. So that is one of the things. The second thing is about not just looking at the problem or just exchanging the money, but really actually providing a solution for the clients. I'm not looking for easy bucks. I'm looking for solving your problem. And that is the key message really helped with us. The third thing is about being the key person of influence is also matter too as well. So I know it's impossible for someone who doesn't have a strong background and just starting it out from nowhere. It will not work for them. But for me, like as I worked for a long period of time in my industry, I started my career. I was a C-suite level executive at the age of 29 and was leading hundreds of people in my team. So that background really helped me as well too, because my industry know it about my capability and I have proven it through my own career journey too as well. And the last thing is about, it's not about I was trying to sell to anyone else. I was solving my own problem and I was suffering with my own problem about a HR problem. And then my mentor become my own customer first. So last thing will be is about not just focusing about building a solution, but focusing about having the right audience around it. So who actually can understand what are you working on, and then not about trying to sell them, but they already know what you're working on and they have genuinely connected with you and they just want to say, hey, let's work together on this one too. Just don't build your sales skills and learn all the hacks and tweaks and try to sell in B2B products and services. Because anybody in B2B space, they are really intelligent people. Focus about product first rather than developing higher level of sales skill. If you have a great product and if you have built it with the right passion and right persistence, it will make a huge impact.
Yeah. So there's the build the right product and service, build it with passion and a lot of research and detail and stuff, and then be the key person of influence. And on the product service side of things, you've certainly talked about structures, levels, specific elements. In other words, you've got a framework or system that people can wrap their brain around. Whereas if we talk about consulting, it says how long is a piece of string? People don't understand that, a bit esoteric. Right. Whereas you've got very clear methodologies around frameworks, even just if you want to go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, and then you have your micro breakthroughs, people understand that. And so it's a lot easier to communicate. You don't necessarily need to be all salesy. They get it and they are attracted to that. And then on top of that, you overlay the key person of influence. So you do a lot of public speaking, you're writing a book, you've got books in the past, a lot of content. And so that is drawing people into your ecosystem, into your world, and then they're learning about you and the business. So a lot of people would call that inbound marketing or thought leadership, but basically it's being known for key topics, and then that brings them into, I'd love to have a call. Can we work with you in our company? Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that's a pretty fair summary. Then it's about giving values for a long period of time consistently. And like an example, I didn't think about writing a book. It's the present situations that moment told me, hey, you write the book right now because you need to write the book so people can utilize into it. And, you need to make the YouTube channel because otherwise you just cannot serve the people. But I can just easily put it on all those things and people can just use it, or even I can reference back as well. And the last thing is about knowledge is something I cannot hoard with. Like, world will move forward. So my mission should be is about how do I be part of it and help this civilization to drive forward. Look at the Kodak. They had their first breakthrough. They had a chance to make a digital camera, but they killed it. But then what happened? There's another company who built a digital camera and killed them. So that's basically it.
If people want to learn more about your company, whether that's on the service side to become a client or to be a partner or to learn just generally what you're doing, what should they do next?
One of the best way to reach out to the company's websites, it's called health-revolution/Pro Academy. There's a lot of resources and tools. Most of them are for free. Just go ahead and use it. And if you really need more help, then there is an easy way you can contact in the website and our team can have a more conversation with you. If you are looking about creating business breakthrough, get a copy of 100x Business Workforce. It's not available in English yet, but there is a priority list of the book. If you join the priority list, you can also get additional perks and bonuses as well too. So just join the list, and you don't need to pay anything, don't need to put any credit card, just put into it so you can get the priority list. And there is a lot of valuable bonuses with that one will come along because you just joined the priority list too. And the third thing I will say, look me up in the LinkedIn. It's Masud Parvez. I regularly sharing different research tools and templates about key conversation about transformations in business. And so a lot about HR transformation as well too. And if you want to learn about digital transformation, you will also find them as well too. So just connect me or just follow me and you'll be able to utilize all of them.
Well, John, congratulations on all you've achieved so far and all that you will achieve in the future. And also thank you very much for sharing your story and your journey with us today. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Thanks for joining us today on A Better HR Business, the podcast that explores the world of HR consulting and HR tech businesses. For show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Remember to subscribe and share the show with any friends who are busy growing a HR business. Thanks and see you next time.